I'm watching Desi try to figure out how to get down back there. Do
I
you
know
see
she's
her?
really struggling. I've been watching her for several minutes trying to figure out how to get down. It's been this dance for about 90 seconds now.
Yeah, she just keeps dancing around.
She
It's
needs
a
a
very
second.
wobbly
Desi.
cat
She
tree.
needs a second, slightly shorter cat tree to get down.
That one's gonna
You live
die
there
soon.
now, Des.
Sorry,
That's your home.
Desi. You're a tower cat now. We'll bring you food and water every day.
Like she gave up and is just looking out the window
She's like, I
again.
guess I live here now.
She's so cute.
Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast about insect superpowers. Each episode, an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring abilities of insects by creating bug-themed superheroes. I'm Amanda.
I'm Kelly.
Producer Derek and Desdemona are also here. Before we get started creating this bug-inspired hero, what's bugging you, Kelly?
Oh, thank you, Amanda. um, we also have Finn and Darcy with us
Yes, surprise
today in the
guests.
room.
More cats.
Yeah, my two cats have joined the recording. What's bugging me is my husband is in the process of going to Dallas for the week for work, and I will miss him a lot. I don't like being apart. We're not codependent, but you
We
know,
got married for a reason.
I got married because I like this guy. Yeah, I like him being around. So I will, yeah, it's just me and the cats this week. And if I record in the other room where I usually record and there's no one out here, the cats will go nuts and make the recording terrible. They will scream and claw at the door.
You say
So,
terrible. I say auditorily interesting.
yeah, yeah, we will definitely hear little screamies happening in the background. So I'm in the living room at my big computer desk where I usually play video games instead of the office.
Fair
But
enough.
it's
Play some.
good. And yesterday I went to my first student wedding, which was really
Ooh!
nice.
You're the mentor at the wedding now. Mm.
It was really beautiful, really nice backyard wedding, and I'm very happy for the couple, and honored to be invited. As a professor, that's cool. It's really nice. A friend of the Podped was there. He was also invited, and
Guys having a little doctor party underneath the trees,
yeah,
huh? Mm-hmm.
yeah, we had a nice time. So, Amanda, happy Mother's Day. We're recording on
Oh, we're
Mother's Day
recording on
today.
Mother's Day. This will not come out on Mother's Day, but it is, in fact, Mother's Day. Thank you. The children gave me some Valentines. Oh, I guess they're Mother's Day cards when it's not Valentine's Day. They just looked like Valentines because they're mostly heart-themed cards this morning. I
That's really
scooted
sweet.
out of the house before they could make me breakfast. Also, my husband does not like eating in bed. He thinks that's bad. So no breakfast in bed for me.
Not
He
even on
hates
Mother's
it.
Day.
He would allow it. I don't want to make it sound like he'd be like no, but like
He
he
doesn't
just
care for it.
well, he hates laying down and our children are quite small, so eating in the bed in mommy's bed results in crumbs. And he nothing makes him more crazy at the end of the day than sliding into your bed and then a bunch of graham cracker crumbs are underneath you.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, crumbs are gross.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I think he's correct. I just also think sitting on the bed and eating a graham cracker is a good time. But
Now that you're a cat owner, have you had the
yes.
issue where you get into bed and maybe there's a little piece of litter in
No,
there?
not yet. I have had her on my lap, and then I'm like, "Why are you crusty on the bottom?" And you're like, "Oh, it's because your paws have little bits of sand stuck in your toes." So I haven't had anything in my
Hmm.
bed yet, but
Yeah, occasionally I find like one little piece
just
of
around.
clay litter in the bed, and I'm like,
Mm,
oh, that's gross. I
that's
really don't.
nasty.
I
You're
don't like that,
nasty little.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's pretty fastidious that way. She's gotten a little fat. Uncle Derek came to my house this week and pointed out that she's a little fat, and I said, "Yeah, that's true."
It's okay.
She was a little bit fat when we got her, and then she lost a little bit of weight because she didn't, you know, transition.
Yeah.
Um, and now she is fat once more. Hmm.
So she's fat and happy. That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
I
hearing.
hope she's happy. She seems happy. My mother also came over this week, and she claimed Grand's lap immediately.
Oh, that's
And then when
nice.
Grand wasn't actively petting her, she did that thing where she like shoves her face into your hand, like, excuse me, you could be petting me right now and you're not, so
I see your hand is not
I
busy.
see I see these empty hands and I think to myself, why? So yeah. Cat motherhood. uh so this week, not motherhood. We are not doing a moth on Mothers Day because we're not releasing it
No.
on Mothers Day. I actually don't know what we're doing. Every now and then, producer Derek does this where he hides the bug from me so that I
Yeah,
will
it's a
be
mystery for you.
extra in the dark. But I'm always in the dark. That's kind of the point of this whole thing, is that I don't know. What do you want to do, Photoshop? I want to do nothing.
Well, this bug, I think we kind of hid this one from you because the reveal is going to be worth it.
Oh, okay, good. I mean, I don't look up the bugs ahead of time unless I like already know what it is. You know, the way that like
Yeah.
I know what a ladybug is. You know, it doesn't matter if I look up pictures of a ladybug. Oh, speaking of looking up pictures of
Oh,
ladybugs, I'm sorry. This is what's really
mhm.
bugging me. I
Tell
was
me.
looking up a picture of a ladybug the other day. I don't even remember what I was doing. I think I was looking up like where the white spots on their eyes are. They have those like big white eye spot, whatever. I read them as eyes because I'm a mammal. They're not
Mhm.
eyes on the
Yeah,
on
they're
the
just
bug. But I
markings.
I just typed in like ladybug close up or whatever, right? And it was just all AI generated pictures of
Ugh.
ladybug
Yeah.
faces, which were not accurate. They were just an amalgamation of all the beetles that AI has seen and red and white spots. And I was like, these aren't ladybugs. This is
Yeah.
a different thing.
I hate this a lot.
I was
We're seeing a
so
lot of
mad.
AI generated
Why
bug
do I have to
pictures
type
and
in ladybug close up real into my search engine? I was deeply annoyed. Outraged even, you might say. Judging from my tone right now. I was mad. But like, why is it returning AI generations to me on my image search? That just, it's not like I
which
searched,
which
whatever.
browser do you use?
I was on just regular old Safari, Google, whatever. And I don't know if there's a way to like, and I don't think there is. I don't think there's a filter to
You'd
be
probably
like
have to do like
no AI websites, because there's thousands of
minus
these these
well
generation.
in the search bar you can type whatever it is and then minus AI,
Oh, okay,
and
I'll
that
try that.
should at
Right.
least filter out some of them.
Some of them. The problem is that
Um,
it just returns like websites, and I have to like memorize what all the websites are, and all the websites are called things like a picture ex or whatever,
yeah,
experiencerealness.com. And so I have to just
too
memorize
real.
what all the AI ones are so that I don't click those images. It's just
Yeah,
mm.
AI is wildly inaccurate. I know it's certainly good for some things, but it's really bad for a lot of for
Yeah,
more
not to go on
things
like
it
an,
is
an
good.
anti
Yeah.
AI, because I do think, sorry, we're like off on a really weird note here on this podcast. I do think that there's some things that being assisted by artificial intelligence would be helpful.
Yeah.
Just skip
Yeah, of
this
course.
step because someone can, if I need to have all my kids' names in a crossword puzzle, sure, that can be an AI generated image. I don't need to sit there and figure out how all my family's names fit together. But if I'm looking up like a scientific picture of the front of a beetle's face, I should be
Yeah,
able to
you don't want
trust that
that.
that beetle is a real beetle.
Or looking up facts about that beetle, because
Yes,
often the AI
that's the
generated
real
content
trouble.
is very wrong,
you
like
you
really, really
Google a
wrong.
question and the AI comes up and it's like, uh, the moon is made of cheese, and you're like, excuse me, and so you
Some
have to
of it
like,
looks very convincing, and if you weren't an expert or didn't like,
right,
I've seen it say
it
things about
quotes
bugs, and
things
I'm
from
like, that's
websites,
not
and you're like,
right at all. Yeah.
yeah, but just be
Uh,
careful out there, folks. Just be careful. Just maybe when it spits out an AI answer, highlight and research that AI answer and see where
yeah,
it
just
came
double
from.
check, guys.
Just double
Double
check.
check.
Double check. The computers are still stupid, really.
But you
Uh,
don't. You don't have to double check us
Not
because
us.
I mean you can. You can certainly. You don't
Well,
have to take my word for it,
the
but
the
I
the
don't use
HI,
AI when I write
the
the notes.
human intelligence that is Kelly has theoretically already generated all these. Oh, producer Derek says if you put a swear in the search, that really
Oh, it messes with the AI. Oh, that's fun.
messes with the AI. That's funny.
The
That's
AI is very puritanical. It can't handle swear
mm,
words.
the AI's name is Patience or something. You know, they always have like really intense
Yeah.
puritanical names. It's like Virtue in the Dark is searching for you. Anyway, we're talking
Yeah.
about bugs.
Well, we're talking about today the uh, water scavenger beetle,
A water
which you
scavenger.
probably haven't heard of.
No, that sounds like someone who goes to shipwrecks and steals the.
Like a little
There's like a
scuba
special
diver.
word for it when it's like on the bottom of the sea. It's like there's like a flotsam, jetsam, destritus. I think there's one more word, but I derelict maybe.
Detritus.
Yeah,
Uh, Anytime someone says derelict, and I don't know why I always remember this, but that I won't say it, but that line from Zoolander,
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say yep,
because
yep,
we were
yep,
a
yep.
kid, we were like a fairly family-friendly show, so I won't say the line, but you know what I'm
Zoolander
talking
though.
about.
Zoolander though.
Zoolander, yeah. I am a
Showed our
millennial,
millennial
and
roots.
I've well, if you're like around me and someone says it, I'll just say the line because
Yeah.
I can't help it. But not sorry guys, not for the show.
Mm.
Not for the pod. And if you are younger than us and have not seen Zoolander, please do yourself a favor
Yes,
because it's very dumb.
if you're between the ages of 13 and any other age, feel free to watch Zoolander. It's got a young Skarsgård in it. Skarsgård is
Yeah,
one of the male models.
I love me some Skarsgård.
Mm.
Uh, which, if you've been a long time listener of the show, you know that already.
Exactly. So
But today,
water
we're
scavenger.
water scavenger beetles. They are mostly aquatic. There are some terrestrial versions, as I'm sure you can tell by the name. Usually, we talk a little bit about how many there are. Now, Amanda, you know beetles are
I
one of
do.
our larger clades of insects. If you had to take a guess at how many species of water scavenging beetles out there, what do you
Okay,
think?
the planet is mostly water, right? But I have to assume.
Well, think freshwater. Yeah,
I was
freshwater.
about to say,
Yeah.
I have to assume he's a freshwater fella
hmm
because it's hard to live in the sea when you're a bug. There's not
We
they're their own
do
thing,
have
right?
marine bugs, but we have very few of them, and
Yes.
I could probably cover them all in one episode.
I
Maybe
feel
someday.
like
Yeah.
the crustaceans have taken over bug duties in the
Yeah,
salt
yeah.
water.
They have the niche.
Shrimps is bugs. But so freshwater, there's a lot of lakes, there's a lot of springs, there's a lot of
hmm
rivers in this
A lot of
world.
streams.
I'm gonna say there are. The way you asking me also implies that there's a lot of kinds.
There's a
I'm
lot.
going to I'm going to say 18,000 varieties of bugs.
You like overshot a little.
I was originally going to say 8 and then 8,000 and then I was like, I'll add 10 just cuz she's asking.
Well, there is an 8 in there, so it's about 2,800.
Okay, 2,800. That's still a lot of bugs.
That's a lot of species. And about 169 genera. So
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
as a reminder, our genus is Homo. We are Homo sapiens. So this is a lower level group is the genus, and there are 169 genera. Genera is just plural for genus, and 2,800, and that's just described species.
Right, right,
There
right,
could
right.
be more. There's always more.
There could always be just one bug per body of water who's specialized for that specific spot in this one specific lake.
But that's a lot. That's a lot of little beetles swimming around,
Yeah.
living their lives, and they start life as all bugs do, as a little
Yes.
eggy, laid in the
No,
soil.
not a lot of live birth bugs.
Not really. But so the females will make an egg case. There's about 32-ish eggs in that egg case. She will bury it in the soil near a stream. And when they hatch, the larvae will crawl on out, hop into the stream or water body, and then commence with the eating, as they do.
That's what those little hungry, not caterpillars, hungry larvae do.
Little hungry,
We should
hungry
make a
hippos, yeah.
knockoff hungry larva, and it's just
And
the
it's a
same
grub,
style. Just a grub.
a little grubby. Well, they're cool because they're active hunters. So
Oh, okay.
if you hate mosquito larvae, you will love a water scavenger beetle larva because they're munching on mosquitoes.
It feels like so the dragonfly was also carnivorous and
Yep.
aquatic, right?
Yeah.
Is do we see more carnivorous larvae underwater for some reason? Or am I'm just conflating the two because I know about dragonfly larvae already.
It's a good question. I don't know if they're more likely to be carnivorous just because they're aquatic.
Is
Because
it just
there's also plenty of detritus, right?
right.
So
It's not like there's
there's
not plants underwater.
yeah, there's plenty of vegetation for larvae to eat. And I mean, mosquito larvae generally just eats bacteria and yeah, like broken down plant detritus. But there are some mosquito larvae that are active hunters. Toxorhynchites are hunters. They eat other mosquitoes. So there's probably a pretty even mix
Oh, okay.
of.
I just have confirmation bias because of
I think we've only really covered
yeah.
active hunting aquatic larvae. Again, other than mosquitoes, because we did do that whole episode on mosquitoes, which was fun. Go back if you haven't listened to that one. That is my diatribe love letter to mosquitoes. Hoping to change hearts and minds.
Every time I see, and again, going back to confirmation bias, I see it all the time now. Since starting the podcast, I see people being like, "Get rid of all mosquitoes, goodbye mosquito." Like it's its own separate meme, and every
It
time I
is,
see it,
yeah.
I'm like, why is that a thing? I think the answer is people just don't like getting bit by mosquitoes.
They don't want to be bit. Yeah, people don't like being bitten by mosquitoes. But
But the
you
circle
know
of
what? That
life.
happens. Yeah, it's not. It's annoying, but it's
Stop
not.
being so delicious, then. Have you considered that?
Yeah, maybe don't be a little snack and you won't be
Maybe
bitten by
don't be such a
mosquitoes.
little cute snack if you don't want to get eaten.
I mean, I get it. They are the most deadly animals on the
Yes,
planet. The
that's true.
disease side is scary, and but
I'm
that's why we
surprised they haven't
like
caught
the water
flack
scavenger.
for some sort of plague. We blamed the rats and then
Oh.
subsequently the fleas. But
Well, that's why we like the water scavenger beetles because
they'll
they'll
eat
eat
the
the
mosquito.
skeets. It'll be fine.
Eat.
Eat. So they eat a ton. Sometimes they'll eat each other. They're hungry. It happens. And the larval stage is not particularly interesting other than they're good swimmers. They're pretty strong swimmers. And then they'll pupate. They go out for dry land to pupate, and then once they hatch, they plop back in the water as adults or emerge. Is
Oh,
the
okay.
proper term.
That's interesting. That you have to get out. You have to dry out in
Gotta
order
get
to
out and
pop
dry
out
out.
of that little cocoon.
And some species are terrestrial and will stay on land and hang out kind of in vegetation around the stream side, but most of them are aquatic, and they'll go back into the water. They're not good swimmers. The adults really stink at swimming. They have lots of hairs all over their legs, and when they swim, they do alternate leg paddling,
Like little dog
like a dog.
paddles. A bug that has lived its whole life in the water so far is just like, I don't remember how to do this.
I'm not good at this. I'm gonna dog paddle the whole time.
Well, I assume he's not an adult for very long, and so it doesn't really matter. But
He's pretty cute though. They're like a shiny black color.
so far, this just sounds like a bug.
A little guy.
I'm waiting for some drops here.
Yeah. So we have a couple. Well, we have a couple drops and a big drop at the end. I'll get to.
Okay.
So one, they do communicate using sound, which is pretty fun.
He can talk. Hello.
He can talk.
Welcome
And
to my
remember that
freshwater pond.
when you're in water, sound travels further in water than it does air. So they have specific calls. They'll call for mating to each other.
Hey, baby.
They'll, yeah, come on over.
Come on over.
They also will make sound to indicate stress, and that's probably to help to scare predators away. If you
Yeah.
make like a bunch of noise,
Yeah.
predators don't like that. And males will make noise while they're copulating, which is,
A
you
little,
know,
a little poo-poo song? No,
little,
that's
no,
copper
no,
lighting.
that's while they don't, not while they're eating, no.
While they're getting busy.
While they're
Okay.
mating, yeah, while they're mating,
They're
they
getting
make a little
spicy.
sound. He gets spicy. And my favorite
Not her,
is
though. Just him?
no, it's just him. He's a
Interesting.
loud boy. She's bored as hell. It's fine. Bugs.
You know what they say. If comedy is spicy sleep, we'll say. Special interactions are like comedy. If no one's made a noise in a while, you need to change what you're doing.
Yeah, very true.
I'm not sure any of that will make it to the cast.
And then my favorite is when a male is trying to court a female. If she's not interested, she like violently buzzes at him.
She's like, "Get out of here! Get
Yeah.
out of here! I don't
She
want you here."
shakes and buzzes, and it's like ugh.
I'm the audience
People have
cannot
been
see,
there
but
at,
I'm.
at a club
Oh,
at the club, and
she's like,
you
"Shoo
really
fly, don't bother me. I'm not interested." Take out my Victorian fan, my Regency era fan, and just wave it at you.
flap, flap,
Bzzz.
flap, 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 flap. Yeah. So pretty funny. There a lot of insects make noise that we weren't really, that you may not be familiar with. There's a lot of sound in water, especially. There's a lot of aquatic invertebrates that make noise. So this is not unheard of, but I don't know. The rejection buzz is very funny to me.
It is very funny. Get out of here.
Other superpowers, obviously they swim, even though the adults dog paddle, and they're not very good at it. Adults do
Sorry,
trap.
what a scrub this guy is. He's dog paddling around, going, "Hey, baby, hey," and she's like, "Get out of here! I don't want your kind." Okay, here I go.
You
Bye
can't
bye.
even swim. Go away.
Take your doggy paddle somewhere else.
You know what he reminds me of? Old Gil from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Oh, just kill.
He's a bit of a Gil.
Hey, baby. No. Okay, here I go. Woohoo.
And his final trick also feels very Old Gil like, and I'll get there in a second. But also, when they're underwater, they can trap air under their wings, like a little bubble, so they can breathe, which is cool.
Ooh.
I love that about swimming
Little
bugs.
scuba tanks, huh?
Yeah, he's got his own little scuba tank. And then,
Having to breathe air when you live underwater just seems like such a design flaw, and yet so many creatures do it. That apparently we've just all decided that that's fine, actually.
well, a lot of
It
us
hasn't
can
killed
hold.
me,
Some of us
so
can
I'm
hold
gonna.
our breath, and others create little bubbles. I think Derek put a photo of the little guy in the
Okay,
chat for you,
I'm
so you
looking.
can
I'm
take a
looking.
peek. They're very streamlined looking.
Oh yeah, I think have I seen these guys? Are they around me?
Maybe they're around. Yeah,
One of these 2,800 guys is
yeah. One of them is around you. Yeah.
surely one of them must be. I've got water out the nose around here. Yeah, so far just a fella. I'm
All right.
waiting for the shoe.
Are you ready for the shoe? And this is why we wanted to cover this guy and why we kept him a secret for the big reveal. So there was this. Now remember when we covered bombardier beetle, and
Yes.
there was the study in Japan by a scientist, and I can't remember his name right now, but he fed a bombardier beetle to a frog, and the bombardier beetle did its thing in the frog's stomach, and the frog spit it out.
Yes.
Right? If you have not listened to our bombardier beetle episode, please check it out.
I believe it's called
a lot of fun.
Explodey Joe.
It's called Explodey Joe. Yeah, go find Explodey Joe. So same scientist I think he seems to specialize in frog beetle interactions, which is such a interesting niche little side quest. So he fed one of these water scavenger beetles to a frog, and about 6 minutes went by, no throwing up, no problem, and then they noticed the water scavenger beetle just crawling out of the frog's butt, alive.
A, a lot after 6 minutes? He just dog paddled his way through the frog?
Yeah.
Just like, oh, look at this. Look at this road detour. They never know what they're doing.
Yeah, that was the fastest recorded time. Most of them took a little bit longer, but
Okay, so this bug, chilling like a villain. A frog comes along. He sees the frog coming. How eats him, and he just embraces it and keeps on swimming through the frog.
I'll walk. You gotta walk your way through the digestive tract, but yeah.
How long? I mean, a frog's digestive tract can't be that long. But you got eaten by him, so it must be sizable compared to you. You're a bug.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
And he's just tough enough that nothing inside the frog can eat him? They dissolve him?
Not in that amount of time. It takes time to be digested. So as long as he's swallowed whole and not uncrushed, he makes his way through and crawls right out of its butt. I think Derek put a video.
Oh, I'm not even sure I want to click this, but we're gonna. All right, come on. Let's watch it. Come on. Okay, it's a bullfrog. So, there's an ad. Hold on. Okay, so it's a bullfrog, so it's a pretty sizable frog. And then here we go. Oh my, the frog doesn't even seem to have noticed that he's lost his meal because it's still alive and it left him.
It just walks right out.
That is wild.
So,
who was the first bug to say, all right, let's get out of here. There's only one way out of here, and it's through.
Well, now in science, Amanda, when we're conducting studies, you got to test all the variables, right? So how is this little guy making its way through the whole digestive tract and out the anus? So to figure that out, they assume they were crawling. And it's important to know if they're crawling, because if they're not, and somehow the frog has just forced it out, that's
right.
A very
is it a mechanism of the frog versus a mechanism of the bug,
or is it the beetle? So they took the beetle's legs and they waxed them down against its body, so it couldn't move on its own, and that guy came out as poop. So we know that they're actively crawling their way through the
if he doesn't have crawling abilities, he's stuck.
He's not making it out. So there's some testing going on. You got to make sure it works. Science. This is science, ladies and gentlemen.
If you write down the results, it's science. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to imagine. It's very creepy. All I can keep thinking of is the
producer Derek is reminding us of the Robert Frost quote: "The best way out is always through." So,
yes, I was about to say over, under, or through. We're going through, baby. You know that I've referenced it on this podcast before because of course, but the '90s smash hit cult classic, The Mummy. There is a moment where a scarab beetle. Gets under the skin of a fella. Oof. And crawls up into him, and it's like this really scary moment where this guy's greed literally eats him from the inside. You know how it is. Metaphors. And okay, so I've been pregnant. And
here we go.
Sorry. You'd be surprised how much sensation your guts actually have. So I can't help but wonder what this feels like for the frog. When we watched that video, he did not even seem to notice that the bug had made an escape out the anus there.
I feel like at the very least you would feel it at the very end leaving. Yeah.
Yes. Escaping. Your meal has vamoosed. But I just... It feels a little body horror-ish for it to be like crawling through you. And it's like, nope. Psych, you thought. But you were wrong.
Yeah, it must feel something. It's just unfazed. There's not a lot of brain power in a frog.
That's true. They might have
So,
not the IQ points required to be like, what is happening down there? They might just be like, something's happening down there. I don't know what it is.
not a lot of inner reflection or
Yeah.
thoughts going on in a frog brain. But just incredible. No one's hurt in the process. The frog seems
I
fine.
mean, the
beetle
frog
is
lost
doing
out on a
okay.
meal, so,
Yeah, the frog's just hungry afterwards.
I've never seen this episode of Mr. Toad and Mr. Frog. That's all I'm saying. This
It's the uncut version. Yeah.
this episode got skipped. Okay, so is he particularly tough, or is it just a matter of speed? I gotta get out of here quickly. And I mean, beetles are relatively tough just because they're always got that hard casing.
So yeah, the exoskeletons are difficult to break down.
Yes.
And if you're getting out there in, we'll say 6 to 10 minutes or so, that's not enough time
For
to break it down. They do, if they can fully digest a beetle if it's in there, but
Right.
not in that amount of time. Because yeah, when they did wax them
Right.
and it came out the usual way,
Yes.
it was
Used up.
digested. Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, have they tried this with things that aren't frogs?
Oh, to see, I don't think so.
Okay. Because that would be my immediate next question. Would be like, okay, now how do we get this bug
So
through a
now,
rat? You know?
now you're getting into red tape. There are rules.
I don't know the rules. I don't know what mad scientist things I can get up to. Am I not allowed to feed a beetle to anything that wouldn't naturally eat a beetle?
I mean, you can, but there are. Your study has to go through like a committee to make sure that you're not
Ethics board.
committing animal cruelty. Yeah, and I'm not saying that this couldn't be a study that
Right.
someone
I'd
was
have
like,
to make
hey,
some
will
sort
this
of
happen in other
facsimile of-
animals? But
yes.
you also got to consider why is that important to know
Yeah,
if it
that's a
can
good
make it
point.
through something else.
That's a
So,
good point.
Is it
Why
is
am
it
I
important
studying this? Yeah.
because we want to know, or if a beetle is not going to ever get eaten by a rat in
Yeah.
nature, then why?
Or me.
Yeah,
What if I'm
or
swimming?
you.
What if I'm swimming through a lake? I'm swimming. Oh no, I've got to sneeze. Achoo. But then, little do I know, I've swallowed down a water scavenger beetle. Now I need to know if I need to be on the lookout.
Yeah, don't try this at home, folks. Don't
Please do not try this
do
at
not
home.
eat a
This
water
isn't the
strider beetle.
1920s. You're not allowed to just swallow down mystery bugs and hope that they help your guts out. What a way to clean
But
you out, though. That's really the question. Could he, on his way through, do a little colon
he's
cleanse for
he's
you?
very small. He's probably not. Although he does have very hairy legs, so he's probably grabbing something on the way out.
I think this also begs the question of like how effective a frog's digestive tract is compared to ours, which we're walking around with a big sack of acid in us at all times.
Yeah.
I don't know that a frog is. We've really got into the weeds here about like how strong a frog's stomach acid is.
Well, I mean, just because the 6 minute was the fastest, some of them
Yeah.
did take a few hours, and that beetle was
Oh.
still okay.
Relatively fine.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know the stomach acid strength of a frog, because they are mostly eating invertebrates,
You're right.
and
It must be pretty tough, but it might be a long time. The the carapaces and stuff might sit in there for a long time after
Yeah.
the softer bits have been dissolved.
Yeah.
You know, not like an owl that like spits out the hard parts.
Right, right. And frogs swallow everything. Hold
Yeah,
on, that's
frogs do have
thirsty.
a little
Make a
bit of a
noise.
reputation for just swallowing stuff.
They
That's
they
why,
can't chew. They don't have teeth.
right? They just
So
and they use their like
gulp.
eyeballs to swallow, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, to
like
push the food
wild.
down.
That what a horrible system, frogs. I'm just saying.
Frogs
Um,
are weird. Frogs are really interesting little guys.
uh, hmm,
Well, I gotta ask after now that you know all this,
yes.
what kind of super
My gosh, woman, I was about to ask you. I was like, what do you expect me to draw for this? I was thinking like, okay, some sort of like
you are the
scuba
artiste?
situation. But how do I show this in a way that keeps our cast all viewers friendly? What's the power set here? Part of me thinks a sort of Shadow Cat-esque, Shadow Cat being the X-Men that can go through anything, you know, that
Hmm.
she like becomes incorporeal um but he the water scavenger doesn't do it for everything.
No.
Does it for this one specific scenario, really? What is a specific and therefore useless power? Oh, producer Derek points out Mr. Miracle, who is in his civilian life an escapologist, an escape artist,
Mm.
you know, a la Houdini, that sort of thing. That's an interesting idea. Houdini did do a lot of tanks that slowly filled with water. And then he
But
had
not a
to
lot of crawling out of someone else's
not
butt.
a lot of crawling out of bouteilles, as it were.
But you could make him a bit of a Houdini.
Yeah, I
That could
think
be
that's
fun.
he's okay. I mean, I don't know what you do besides an escape artist, but like specifically an underwater escape artist. A magician who's not very good at anything but this one trick.
Yeah, one trick magician.
He's a one trick, but people love this one trick, okay? They're like, do the trick. And he's like, I have other tricks. And they're like, no, just the one. Okay, let's think. Do you do the big glass box where that fills up with water? That's like quintessential.
You fill
Do
it
they?
with digestive enzymes.
Is it Isla Fisher who like almost drowned in? Is it the Prestige? There's those two movies that came out too close together. One
Oh,
was
yeah,
the
I always mix
Prestige
them
and
up.
one was the Illusionist, right? And
Mm,
they came out the same year, and I never can keep them straight. One is it was secretly twins,
that's the
not even
prestige.
that's the Prestige, and then the Illusionist is it was secretly clones, right?
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I have that wrong then.
Then maybe we got it the other way around. One of them has
Spoilers.
spoilers.
It's both in the Prestige.
What?
Oh,
Cloned
God.
twins? Oh no, the
Oh, the
rival
Prestige.
the rival magician is twins. And then the clone and he's trying to figure out how the clone guy is doing it. Right?
Oh,
Hugh Jackman's
boy.
cloning himself.
Yes.
But
I feel like I
but
gotta watch The Prestige again.
It's pretty good.
I remember thinking it was great at the time, but
okay, well
also Hugh Jackman's fantastic.
who doesn't love
It's
Hugh
got
Jackman?
like all of the cast members in that have been in the MCU since.
Oh, it was an MCU Prestige to MCU pipeline. Disney does that. I don't know that this is a Disney produced film, but if you see a celebrity slumming it somewhere in a Disney production, they're about to become a lead in a different production because
Why?
they are testing to see whether you're easy to work with.
Oh, interesting.
So, like Mandy Moore was Princess Rapunzel, right? And then she was the voice cast. She was the lead cat in a show called Sheriff Callie, in which she was a sheriff cat. And this is purely speculation on my part and other people, but purely speculation. And so she was being a voice artist for this tiny little Disney show, and you're like, why is Mandy Moore here? You know? And then, like a year later, Tangled, the TV show, came out. And it is my professional opinion that they were testing whether her voice worked as a VA artist or not on a rinky-dink little show
Oh,
to
that's
see if she
fun.
was easy to work with. They did the same thing with the voice of Princess Tiana. they had her be a special guest star on a little show called, why is it always cats? A little show called Super Kitties that my 3-year-old is obsessed with. And then there was supposed to be a Princess Tiana show, but it very recently got the boot, and I am very upset about it. So,
Aw.
interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay.
Oh, I was listening to another little aside. Speaking of Hugh Jackman, I listened to Patrick Stewart's book, Making It So.
Ooh, does he make it? Does he read it himself?
He
The
reads it
audiobook?
himself.
I
It's
love when they
great.
do
It's
that.
very long. It's like 12 hours, but it's like his whole career, start to
Oh,
finish.
back when he had hair.
Back when he had hair. Well, and also when he was a little boy and growing up in England in the the 30s, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. The whole thing is amazing. But he mentions that like for the first X-Men movie, he's on set with Halle Berry and
The
oh,
gorgeous.
and James Marsden also,
The
and
gorgeous.
another gorgeous, and Hugh Jackman comes out. Hugh Jackman comes out and introduces himself, and he had just auditioned for Wolverine, and he's like, "Oh, real nice meeting you. You'll probably never see me again. I did a horrible job."
Now here we are 30 years later, and he's like the Wolverine, you
Still,
know?
he's still Wolverine, yeah. But Patrick
He's
Stewart said
retired from it like 3 times now.
that he was delightful, and then he was like, "Oh, that's a shame. This guy was really nice." And then he got the part, and it is now forever Wolverine.
He didn't get the part.
He did get the
Didn't
part.
get the part?
Hugh Jackman was the second choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Who was
yeah.
number
Because the other
one?
guy,
The other guy had to drop out because
Had
he
to
was
leave?
filming something else.
yeah, but he did
How mad are
eventually
you? How mad are you
got it.
if you were in X-Men and then you had to leave and you're like, it's just an X-Men movie. It won't be a big deal. It won't
But
evolve
yeah,
into
Hugh
a
Jackman's
billion-dollar
assessment that he
industry.
may have sucked may have still been true.
Yeah, he said that he did a bad job, and I felt so sad for him. Dougray Scott was supposed to be Wolverine,
Oh.
or Dougray. He looks like, if you Google him, he kind of looks like Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
It's,
clearly they were going for a look. You know,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
people forget how
He was in
different the
Mission
landscape
Impossible
of
too.
superhero. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I do know who you're talking about then.
yeah, yeah,
But people forget how different the landscape of superhero movies was in the early 2000s.
yeah.
There had been Spider-Man that had made money and like pretty much nothing else. Like even the Blade movies weren't really being sold as comic book movies.
They
You know
weren't
what I
being
mean?
sold as
Like that was
superhero
just kind
movies.
of
Yeah,
they were being sold as superhero movies. They were
yeah.
yeah. It's really not till 2008's Iron Man that people start going, "Hey, you could do this. You could make
This is
comic book
good.
movies
Yeah.
that made money." And
We
I mean,
finally watched
truly,
Deadpool and Wolverine, and that was very
I
fun
still
and
haven't
silly.
watched it because I have to really wait till there's not children in the house.
So, are you gonna go with a Houdini?
I'm doing the glass box here. I had to quickly Google some like how big are these glass boxes? Um, do. Okay, we're gonna do this box right here. Ooh. And I think we're gonna yeah. I like this. Oh, that's all right. Uncle Derek, producer Derek wants me to put the drawing over here now,
Oh yeah, so we can
so
hear
that you can
you
hear me while I make
while
noises
you
while I draw.
while you mutter.
I mutter to myself, what did I learn in art school? What did they teach me? All right. We're gonna go this way. I think I might need to do it this way and then flip it. All right. Okay, he just kind of looks like a beetle. He's just there's not a whole
Yep,
lot
he's
really.
shiny. He's pretty streamlined looking. Um, I could picture like a pretty like a classic like magician black suit situation.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like a Chris Angel mind freak, although.
So what you may or may not remember, my husband was really into close-up magic for a hot minute. He really, which tracks for him
This
that
feels right to me. Yeah, this feels
exactly.
correct.
He's into professional wrestling, video games, and up close magic. Um,
I love Cody so much.
snag myself a winner. So the only reason he hasn't really continued it is it requires so much practice, right? You
Oh, I'm
to
sure.
really be
Yeah.
good at it.
It's a real art. It's an art form.
Uh, but you'd be shocked how many Chris Angel Mind Freak baby's first magic kits there are out there. I dare say he
For
makes his money
children?
on magic kits, not on being a magician, because there's so many of them, and they all come with like DVDs and like because it's like one trick per box, right? He sells all these little kits of like,
Yeah.
here's how you do the escape from handcuffs trick. Here's how you do the card was in your pocket all along trick. Okay, we're gonna give him. All right. Does he need to be? He probably does need to be tied up in the box because it can't be comfortable to go through the digestive tract of a frog.
It's not going to feel good. Even if he comes out unscathed. Imagine the pressure. You know, the
Oh, I'm imagining the pressure.
I read a book a while back and I forgot what it was called. But it's about a guy who was swallowed by a whale and
I
makes his
believe that
way
is the Bible.
makes
Okay,
his way
sorry.
out of the whale.
Oh,
But
in a similar fashion.
he tries that and can't quite get through,
Can't
and
get through
then
the
there's
the
there,
tight holes.
but the book is claustrophobia inducing because they really get into the pressure of being in a stomach and then of trying to squeeze through the various
Is this based on a real
sphincter
life
passages
account? Because it was my
between.
impression that whales can't swallow
No,
much.
it's not based on a real account.
Okay, I was gonna say
Someone just really like
this is the
wrote this,
metaphor. Okay.
but I'm gonna find the title. Freaky author. Whalefall. It's called Whalefall by Daniel Kraus.
Oh, that's funny because
And
whale fall is like a totally different thing.
yeah, it was rough. It was a rough read and sounded fairly accurate, sort of to maybe what the experience would be like. But it's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. And if anyone is interested in reading a book like that, Whalefall was very good. It was very well
Yeah.
written, but it's horror. It's absolute horror.
We just read
It's
a
a
horror
horror
book
book.
for my book club, which I don't typically engage with horror because, like, my
Mhm.
brain is scary enough on its own. But yeah, we just read The Watchers, and it was very good,
Oh,
but a little freaky at times,
well,
you know.
I like a decent horror book. I like a horror book that's been. I don't like cheap gore in
Yeah,
my horror. I'm not a
you
gore
prefer a
hound. It's not what I'm looking
psychological
for. Yeah,
thriller. Hmm.
yeah. There was another really good horror book I read a while ago. I think it was sweet. Was it Norwegian or Swedish? And it was about like a small town and this spirit of I think she was a witch. It might be called the witch or something.
The Vavitch.
And it just shows up like in your house and there she is and she's really horrifying and everyone just goes about their life like she's here, and sometimes the teenagers will throw like a piece of laundry on her and she's just there, but you can't mess with her. She's like the spirit of the town basically. and um
Interesting.
and then eventually teenagers do mess with her and some horrible things happen. But for me the concept of this very scary spirit, just she just shows up in your house. It could be anyone's house in any room and you just have to deal with it, is very frightening. Yeah, I don't remember what that was called, but I'm pretty sure it was a Scandinavian author and it was very well
It
written.
sounds very, very old world European to have
Yeah.
A spirit that just sits in your house, and you just gotta have to deal with this now.
Yeah. Yeah, producer Derek says house guests are terrifying, and he's yes, yes, they can be.
Yes. A house guest that you can't get rid of. Is there anything more terrifying to the upper European?
Yeah, that's what it is all about. Northern Europeans don't want house guests.
They don't want you here. And I don't think they're wrong.
But that was a good one. But yeah, if you're looking to know what it feels like for our friend Scavenger, water scavenger beetle, try reading Whale Fall for the experience. If you're okay
Well,
with
you gotta,
that
you
kind of
know,
horror.
it's
Yeah.
it's swim through the guts or die, and you'd be surprised what people are willing to do when the answer is or die.
Or die. Yeah. You really just gotta keep going. Yeah, it's about human persistence too. And there was some metaphor for grief in there and some
Yeah.
other things going on, but that's fine.
Okay, how do I make this
How
guy
is
more buggy and not just a guy in a box? You
how
know,
is the art coming?
I am trying to figure out. Like I said, I'm just trying to figure out how to make him more buggy instead of just a guy in a box. Does he have wings? He's a
He
bug.
has wings. He can fly. Yeah, they can fly.
Oh, he needs
Then
some sort of ability to make noise in my because he's such a talky guy. You know, I'll give him a microphone. And you have to assume he jabberjawed his way through the opening introduction
oh, absolutely.
of his really talking you through. I put him
Or
head first because that just makes sense if you're trying to
yes.
escape a
Oh,
frog. But
yeah,
that means
yeah.
his head is underwater, and I can't have him have a running commentary while he does it
So I'm supposed to ask you about Hans Christian Andersen.
about how he was an absolute freak-a-leak. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, and house guests.
Oh, house guys, yeah. Okay, so Hans Christian Andersen, Hans, as it were, has
Hans.
you may know him as the author of The Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
The
Yep.
Snow Queen, those sorts of things. And a lot of his stuff are metaphorical stories about not fitting in, about unrequited love, about
Mm.
dying of loneliness. So that might give you a sense of who Hans was in life and how popular he was. But he was a big fan of Charles Dickens. Big fan. Big fan. And somehow or another, they meet, Charles Dickens and Hans Christian Andersen. And Charles Dickens, good old Charlie, threw out well, if you're ever in England, come on by. You know, I'll have a room for you if you come to England anytime. You know, just being friendly. Well, Hans Christian Andersen took that as a explicit invite to come visit. So when he made a special trip to England to visit Charles Dickens, he showed up with his bags, and you know, Dickens was just being nice.
Did you not contact him first? He
No,
just
just showed up. Well, because Charles had invited him. In Hans Christian Andersen's mind, he had been invited, and not picking up the social cue. There's a lot of talk about whether he would
maybe
have
he
picked
was
up
on
a
the
social
spectrum.
cue. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think it's pretty firm that he was deeply on spectrum. Just like reading through his life history, this man was not picking up what other people were throwing down.
Yeah.
And it affected him emotionally deeply. Because he just could not understand why other people said one thing and then did another. He like the polite Victorian society was confuddling to him. Anyway, he shows up to Dickens' house and proceeds to stay for, you know, a polite house guest is like fish. After 3 days, it starts to stink, right? So that's kind of what everyone's expecting is like a 3-day visit. And I believe the final count is like a month. He stays in the guest room for weeks at a time. And Hans Christian Andersen was an avid journaler, and all of his journals are like, I'm having such a good time with my best friends, Charles Dickens. His wife is lovely. His children love me. Everyone's so happy that I'm here. And then you cut to all the Dickens' journals, and they're like, this man won't leave. He's horrible. He picks his toes at the dinner table. He weeps for no reason. Why is he here? Get rid of him. And at one point, while Hans Christian Andersen is there, one of his new stories comes out and gets a bad review. And Hans Christian Andersen throws himself distraught on the front yard of Dickens' house and like wails with grief over like
Oh
nobody
boy.
likes me, everything's bad, my story got a bad review. And Dickens is just there watching it like, what do I do? Because I can't just have this man, just lying on the streets wailing. My reputation, man. This is Victorian England. Um, Wild.
Oh, that's amazing.
And of course, Hans Christian Andersen's picking up none of the hints that everyone wants him to go already, And he finally goes home and the whole thing. But it's just so funny to read his journal of like,
I love
everyone...
that we have the journals. It's
well, he was
good.
an avid... You want to get into wild journals. Hans Christian Andersen's your man. Because the things he kept track
even
of...
Dickinson, like the fact that we have both of them to compare is very funny.
He like wrote a letter to one of their other author friends. Was like, what do I do? And it was like, well, how do I? And they're like, I don't know, man. You're the one who invited him over without like a
It's like having old MySpace records.
It does feel very that. It's so funny that like he was just being polite in English, and this absolutely off the wall Danish man came over and was like, I'm here to stay, my good friend. And they're not even friends. Keep in mind, they're not even friends. They only are like acquaintances through the literary circles they both float in.
So funny.
Oh, it's so
I love
good.
it. I love everything about that story. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Derek, for telling me to ask that question. This is great.
A very interesting life that old Hansi led there. Again, by his own problems made by his own hand. A lot of them, just because he was not picking up what other people were throwing down.
It happens. Happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best of us. Like The Little Mermaid is about how he was in love with his best friend, his male best friend, and his male best friend was like, "What? We're just buddies. We're pals." And he got married to a woman because he was not of any persuasion in which he wouldn't get married to a woman, the friend. And old Hansi was so betrayed. How could you do this to me? And his friend's like, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? And then he wrote The Little Mermaid as like, look how he broke my heart, and now I will die and turn into sea foam. And everyone's like,
boy,
bro, I don't know what you're talking about.
Took it really hard there, pal.
Yeah,
took it really hard.
Wrote a literary classic about how he's his unrequited love for someone who didn't know that they were boyfriends. It's very funny. Okay, I'm gonna send this to you now, and we'll decide what we need to make it more buggy. Because right now it's just a dude in a box. I need to save a copy. Maybe I can put speakers next to him that you have to assume is playing some like real cool hard rock. There you go. Just a dude in a box right now. He looks a little bit like Understanding Comics. If you know, you know. Scott McCloud.
He's a dude
in a box. Not very buggy at the moment, I'm afraid.
Upside down. Yeah, it's kind of hard to make him buggy because water scavenging beetles have antennae, like other beetles, but they're small and are sometimes like tucked under the shell. So you're not even getting like good. Derek is saying make him rounder. Yeah,
okay.
He could be rounder. Oh, hey, Darcy. Hey, Darcy. Darcy is joining me by the mic.
I could also put him in a rounder box too. That would be more interesting, like a goldfish-shaped box, or even a frog-shaped tank. But that might not come across in a very quick drawing. You're right. He is a little skinny for a beetle.
To make a frog-shaped tank, can you maybe just put like what's that little like Hello Kitty frog thing?
Yeah. They all have names, but I have no idea what they are.
Yeah, but maybe something like cute like that. He's like in a cute little frog tank. I don't know if that would work, but that's what the first thing I thought.
Karopi's the name of the Hello Kitty frog, yeah. Did all this on one layer like a fool. Like the fool I am.
You could make the dunk tank look like a butt.
I considered that, and then it was like, are we trying to keep this?
Oh, a butt's fine.
Okay, let me. Do, 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 do.
It'd be a great episode for new subscribers.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to the butt
Welcome to
tank.
B&H. Welcome to the butt tank.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how I can do this with still keeping our up down format, you know? Is this too butt-like? Maybe. I guess we'll find out. Now it just looks like a loaf of bread.
The inner workings of Amanda as we go through the process.
Sorry about it. Oh, nope, that's the wrong thing. Yes, a lot of this will probably have to get redone in post. Okay, I've changed the shape of the thing he's in. I'm not sure it's coming across as frog. And then, oh, I didn't make him any rounder. Hold on. Do. Like that. Warp, 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 warp. Now he just kind of looks like Superman hanging upside down inside of a frog-shaped jar. Oh well. Actually, I think I'm
Gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner as like an alone person. It's very different than.
You got a Costco nearby, you can go get a hot dog.
Oh, I love a hot dog.
Well, hopefully people see this and say, what is happening in this drawing? I gotta listen to the episode and find out.
I gotta know what's happening right here.
I gotta know what's going on. Save a copy. Send it to your friends. Okay. Okay, I've put some art into the Discord now. He's now in a frog-shaped jar.
Oh, the frog-shaped jar is wonderful. That's very funny. Yeah.
I have to assume that's what he's chattering about on stage. Welcome to my stage. As you know, all my things are frog-shaped.
Yeah.
And I'm an escapologist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the frog-shaped jar. That's good. Yeah, I think this worked, Amanda. This was
All right. He's still just a fella hanging upside down in a jar, but it's fine.
kind of masterpiece as usual.
Kind of looks like he's stuck in a potion bottle of some kind, like a witch's brew.
Like a big weird cookie jar.
Yeah, exactly. But it's made of all of glass so that the audience can see his escapology. I just like to say escapology. I think it's a really fun word. It's a good word. Escapology. It's one of those words where like the syllable emphasis changes when you add something to it.
Yeah.
And I like those words. I think they're good.
Well, how many legs would you give this
Oh
book?
my gosh, I hadn't even considered. He's a pretty normal guy. You know, he's just a bug who lives in the water. I like his doggy paddling. Hilarious. I like that he is very communicative. That's by itself a huge plus for me. The fact that he can get pooped out is so...
Not pooped out. He crawls out.
Okay, the fact that he can make his way downtown, as it were, is crazy. I gotta know what else, if there's anything else. There's gotta be something else that can get pooped out, you know what I mean?
Snails.
Oh,
Snails
you're
will
right.
sometimes like close up, but they're not. What's interesting about this beetle is it's the first that we know of to actively make this escape
Actively
on its own.
say,
The
uh-oh.
snail closes up and waits to be
Right.
pooped out. So,
Right. Passive survival.
yeah, passive.
Whereas
This is active.
this is active, an act of defiance. He's gonna go
Yeah.
spelunking through these frog caves until he finds the exit. Oh my gosh, I saw a ad on I was scrolling, doing my scrolling, and there was an ad for a museum where you can like crawl through facsimiles of famous caves to see what it's like
Oh, that's cool.
in like a safe quote unquote environment.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything I want to do less. I hate the thought of spelunking. It sounds horrible to me. But people are like, oh, let me just shimmy through this tiny rock crevice that if I get
I don't like the
stuck in,
shimmying.
there's
Yeah.
nothing I can do about it. No, thank you forever.
But this guy is making it work.
This
He's
guy,
doing it.
he's escaping. Don't you worry about
So,
it.
so
His
how many
will to
lives then?
survive cannot be
Yeah.
messed with. So for that reason alone, I gotta give him a 5 out of 6 because you can't fight the will to live, right?
That's true.
He would crawl through to the ends of the earth, to the ends for certain, to make sure that he gets home to tell his wife what happened. You'll never believe what happened to me today, Cheryl. What was
I
it?
think I'll give him 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really only has this one trick, but golly, what a trick.
Well, what a trick it is. What a trick.
He's a one-trick pony. A one-trick bug, but what a trick it is. If you too would crawl to the ends of a frog's butt to listen to us, you could find us on the Reddit.
Thank you.
You could find us. You don't have to though. That's the joy. We'll come to you. All you have to do is click a certain sequence of buttons on your phone that you already have. It's already in your pocket. You might as well just click the buttons. Come find us at BugsNeedHeroes.com, BugsNeedHeroes subreddit, BugsNeedHeroes Facebook, BugsNeedHeroes Blue Sky,
Instagram and Blue Sky. Yeah.
BugsNeedHeroes Instagram, BugsNeedHeroes.
We love it. We love an email. Feel free to email us.
Email us about the time you got swallowed by a whale, and then you crawled your way out. Have you seen that video of that kayaker that gets almost swallowed by a whale?
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
I mean,
But
sometimes
that whale doesn't want that.
No,
Spit out pretty quick.
Spit him out pretty like well, because like I said, I'm pretty sure whales can't swallow anything bigger than like a grapefruit, like maybe a soccer ball if it's a really big whale. But like you're not getting down the gullet of a whale anyway.
Nah.
Don't get swallowed by whales. Listen to the podcast. That seems a lot easier for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, find us. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bugs Need Heroes was created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad, with some assistance from Chelsea Bodden and a few cats. Character art is by Amanda Niday. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out at bugsneedheroes.com, and most of the socials are under Bugs Need Heroes. Thanks for stopping by. This is space that Derek will have to cut out. Pop, 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 pop.
Poor Derek.
Sorry.